Hey guys, Chris from ClassicVWbugs.com, and in this video I want to talk to you about one of our projects that we're working on in our Build-A-Bug program, and it is this 1955 oval sedan that we're doing for a nice guy in Missouri. He signed on to us, I'd say a few months back, and basically he opted for a high-end show driver bug. And one thing I wanted to talk to you about with his project, which could help you in the end, and you know, if you want to save money in the long run, is to go with a bug that maybe we already have in stock. I still search the web for these cars, and I still ship them in from all different parts of the country and different states and all. This bug actually came from Mississippi and was sitting in a barn for 30 years. I already bought that car, so it was already in my inventory. So if you want to save money, now you don't even have to buy the car as part of the Build-A-Bug program. You just have to pay for the restoration services. Now, one thing I do encourage for people who want to get involved with the Build-A-Bug program, because we've been getting a lot of emails and a lot of submissions for bugs, and I get this question all the time, and it is you know, of course, how much it's going to cost and whatnot to build your bug. I definitely recommend going with a 67 and earlier bug. Their value was much higher than a 68 and later bug. So in the end, after the car is all restored, the car is definitely worth what the restoration cost. If you go with a 68 and later bug, those cars drop a good 10 grand in value after a 67. So good tip there is to stick with a 67 and earlier bug. And we can still put in those newer features into an earlier bug. We could put the later engine, we can update the, you know, the braking system for you and things like that. So just one of the points I wanted to point out to you, because we've been getting a lot of emails about, you know, restorations for 68 and later, 74 projects and things like that. And, you know, in the end, I try to encourage to go with a 67 and earlier car. But what we have here is a 55 oval sedan, which is coming out gorgeous, and he opted for a high-end show driver, so he definitely wants to drive this car. It's not going to be a trailer queen. And I'm going to get behind the camera now. I'm going to go through the car and show you some of the things that we've been doing as we're assembling it. Okay, so here's this 55 bug that's part of the Build-A-Bug program that we're building for this nice guy named Frank in Missouri. And just a couple tips for you guys out there also, and also to show you what we do to get us going here is, first of all, this just recently came back from paint, and like all our paint jobs, they came out awesome. You'd be hard-pressed to find any imperfections on these paint jobs. I have a really keen eye for stuff like this, and I guess it's my art background. But I like to work from the inside out when it comes to my bug. So once you get your shell back from paint, as you can see here, I started working on the wiring already, which is basically the nervous system of the bug. And if you have the existing wiring that seems okay, you can go with the original wires, but if not, they do sell new wiring looms that you can purchase. And you know, one thing is for sure is definitely go to the samba.com and download these wiring diagrams. They'll at least tell you, you know, how to hook up your wires, and you know what switches are what, if you download the key diagram and things like that, and you know, basically get you all set up. So one of the first things I like to do again is I like to go through the wiring and get that all straightened out first and put everything in place, and then I can start hooking up all the electrical components. And then basically I like to start working on the interior. As you can see here in this interior, we're already doing the sound deadening materials. You can see in the doors, this stuff gets rolled on and sticks onto that metal really nice, and it will quiet that car down and get rid of that tinny sound. And just remember, when you're putting this sort of stuff on, this is kind of like that dynamite material that they sell. You want to do this without the windows in the doors, and without the scrapers, without the vent posts and the vent windows in, because it'll be a lot easier to roll this stuff on. And then when you come on the inside, as you can see, I always use POR 15 on my floor pans. It's a rust preventative paint, and basically these pans will never rust again or ever. And then you can see here, I put all new padding even in the headliner area. This is Wolfsburg West headliner, which is a beige mohair or cloth. Really nice headliner actually, and I recommend using them if you want something that's very close to period correct. I put a lot of padding in here. I have some pictures that I took that I'm going to show you right now. As you can see here, up in the window areas, the posts, the pillars and stuff like that, I have a lot of this padding that I buy from Lowe's or Home Depot. And then as you can see, I also use that deadening material down here in the luggage compartment. It's rolled on first just like what's in the doors. That's all up into this luggage area, all on the over the wheel hump. And then I put this other jute material on top of it to even deaden the sound even more. That stuff also goes into the rear door panel areas, and then more padding on top of the roll-on stuff that I use. So your car will come definitely soundproofed. You will get rid of that tinny sound that most Volkswagens have when the sound of the engine roaring in the back while you're driving. This stuff will really quiet the ride down and be very comfortable, and also keep the heat inside on a cold day, and very well insulated. And once I have the headliner all installed and all the carpet padding down, then I can start moving to the carpet. You basically will start on the front part and then work your way towards the back. And then you can start going onto the dash components, putting the glove box door on, the speedometer, the ashtray, the speaker grills, chrome, things like that. And then once we're finished with that, then we start popping the windows in, and then we start working towards the exterior of the car. We also started setting up the wiring for the engine compartment as well. And you want to hope too that, you know, if you're doing a full restoration, that the engine is out of the car. And we do this for all of our restorations. The car will go to the body shop without the engine in it, of course. And we are already in the rebuilding process of that right now. See, here's the original engine that came out of that 55 Bug, if you want to look at the numbers here and see that I'm not lying to you. This is, we started breaking the tins apart last night, you know, taking the shrouding off. I think I have that all over here. Make sure you put everything in boxes. You might want to label them and categorize them, things like that. Here's the original muffler system that we took off the car. A lot of this stuff can be powder coated and blasted to get all the rust off of it. This muffler is actually the original muffler and is actually in damn good shape, so I think we're going to go with it. Even the heat boxes seem to be okay. Like I said, this car was in a barn for about 30 years, so really didn't see much of the weather elements from the outdoors. So when we took this engine out, this engine kind of looked like this guy right here. And then when we're all finished, it should look like this guy right here. So then once we break the engine apart, and here's a block that's going to go out to get steamed from the machine shop. You see this is still kind of gunky, and then here's one that's completely cleaned already. So the inside of the case has been steamed and you know, inspected for any sort of cracks or blemishes or anything that would hinder the integrity of the engine. And then at this point too, I give, you know, the block to my machine shop along with the cam and the crank. So then he can mic them up and make sure that they are not worn. And then when he comes back to me and tells me if the cam is good, crank is good, he'll also tell me what kind of bearings I would need. So then we go with all new bearings and all new interior components as well, along with the rods and bushings. Now the good thing about the Build-A-Bug program is that you are building your own bug through us. Anything you want on your car, we can do. If you don't want it, we don't have to put it on. That's the good thing about a Build-A-Bug. You know, a lot of my bugs that I put up on eBay when I was selling them, I had all these accessories on them, and some people would literally walk away from the car because I had the eyelids on the car, which is easily removable. You know, it's the same with the gravel guards and things like that. If you don't want these on your car, basically this is all stated to me up front before we start assembling it. Now here are 254 bugs that I have in stock that were in inventory. This one is still ready to be signed onto. This one right over here just got picked up to be part of the Build-A-Bug program. Now, as I stated to you before, I get the bugs in inventory, so the good thing that he benefited from was he didn't have to buy this bug. This bug I already had in stock. Now he came with this red bug over here, and he wanted a 68 bug to be restored, and he wanted to put older features on it and things like that to make it look like an older bug. But problem, like I stated to you before, is that a 68 and later bug, they drop in value a good chunk. And in the end, after all the restoration services and whatnot, his car just would not be worth it in the end. At least yet. Now, I told him, instead of doing all that work to that 68 bug, why don't you put the work into a 54 bug? Now I know from the outside this thing looks a lot more scary than the other one. But in the end, he'll be paying the same amount of money to restore this 54 as he would have paid for the 68. So it doesn't matter what year the bug is, the restoration services are going to be the same. So he opted for this 54 instead, and I'm going to basically sell his 68. So, but he's going for the vintage stock look of this 54 bug, which the original color was the Strata Silver, if you can believe it. And underneath, he wants a stronger engine. He wants a 1600 dual port engine in it, and he's going to want some disc brakes on it so he can have some stopping power. And that's totally fine. We can do that for you. So, you know, just because you have an older bug doesn't necessarily mean it can't drive like the later bugs. So, just a couple of the things I wanted to point out to you as part of the Build-A-Bug program, that there's a lot of options out there for you for this program, and you could basically get the bug of your dreams to the specs and to the personality that you want. Okay, so those are just a few of the things I wanted to talk to you about the Build-A-Bug program, because we've been getting a lot of questions about it. I know it's fresh out there on the YouTube area and the video sites and things like that. So just understand, you know, when you do submit to us a form, it might take us a few days to finally get back to you because we've been getting so many submissions. But a couple things, like I said, I wanted to speak to you about is, you know, how you could benefit from the Build-A-Bug program, and how in the end you could save money by going with something that maybe we already have in stock. So then you don't have to pay for the car, so you're actually saving some money there. And also just wanted to show you a couple tips on how we, you know, assemble the cars and whatnot, and you know, how you can maybe do it to your bug if you're going to restore your own car. But also through the whole process of the Build-A-Bug program, I keep you abreast of everything. I give you up-to-date information and pictures and video. And also remember, like towards when your car is completed, everyone is going to get a completed book from before and after showing the restoration. For example, there's all these pages here that I show of a lot of the projects that we do. And you'll get a book just like this that is leather bound, that shows how we do the engine rebuilds, things like that, how we coated the cars with the rust preventative paints before it was painted, how it looked when you got it, and whatnot. So this is a great book to have in your car when you're going to shows or whatnot, or even if you're just stopping, you know, talking to somebody about your car, because believe me, these are conversational pieces by far. So, and then also you'll get a DVD of your car as a little short film that I usually cut to music, titles, and effects that you can also have to your collection. If anybody has any questions else about the Build-A-Bug program, you can email me at chris@ClassicVWbugs.com or visit my website, www.ClassicVWbugs.com, and there's a Build-A-Bug tab there at the top of the page that gives you more information. Also gives you the contract that you can read over in PDF format, so you have an understanding of how we work here. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, just give me a holler. All right? Take care.